A head-to-head comparison between the Mevo Start and the Obsbot Tail Air. Now that there are many backers who are finally getting this little camera in their hands, the Obsbot team has released the iOS version of their Obsbot Start software. That's how they've tagged the software. If you're looking for it in the Google Play Store or in the App Store, it is called Obsbot Start. The Mevo single cam app controlling a Mevo Start on my iPad, the Obsbot Start software controlling an Obsbot Tail Air on my Galaxy Tab S8, and we'll see the differences and similarities between the two pieces of software, and at the end we'll look at what the image production looks like. I'll turn the cameras around. You can see what it looks like looking at me with a little bit of backlight, with a little bit of side light, in a very controlled environment. I thought, though, as we went through this process, you might like to see all the things that are coming up in this year's third annual channel giveaway. Now, this is not an entire picture of everything because I'm really close to it, but you can see some of the things that we'll be giving away on November 25th of 2023. If it's past that time when you're watching this video, then you'll look forward to the following Thanksgiving weekend where we give away some things on this channel every year. So let's look a little bit at the software itself. Let's compare what they do that's the same, and let's look at some of the things that are unique to each of them. Now I'm going to start with presets because both pieces of software give me what Mevo calls static shot presets. I actually get 9 of them in the Mevo single cam app. I only get 3 of them in the Obsbot Start app, but you're going to notice one huge difference in it. I'll show you that in just a second. I'll go ahead and tell you the reason I'm not using the multicam app is because Obsbot does not yet offer a multi-camera setup that's native to their software. If you want to go multicam, you're going to have to turn NDI mode on. You're going to have to go into another piece of software or connect them to a computer and run it that way. So, static shot presets. If I tap on the screen, tap and hold anywhere on the screen, hit the plus, and I get a new static shot. I know it's a new static shot because I have a little circle inside. I can tap and hold here, drag to the plus, I get a new static shot because I know there's a new static shot because there's a little circle inside. This is the default, which you set in the settings, and I can have, like we said earlier, 9 of these. So there's 3, there's 4. 9 is overkill for a start. Whenever we had the Mevo Plus and you had a wider field of view, 9 was perfect, but that's a lot. You can take and drag these and reposition them if you don't like the original. When I tap on that particular circle that persists on the screen, it takes me back to that one. Or I can zoom out some. If I want a wider shot with this one would zoom in, this one would zoom out, and I always have my preview up there in the top right corner. So when I tap on the grid down here at the bottom, I'm going to get all the ones that I have saved. There's 3, 6, 9, the center one being your wide shot all the way out, similar to what we had in the Go Home button over here in the Obsbot Start software. On the Obsbot Start software, the thing we have in the upper right hand corner for a monitor is one size. You can put it where you want to, similar to the Mevo Start software. That one goes smaller. This one just goes away. And you tap that area of the screen and it comes back. Kind of a nice feature there. I have a crop feature here on the bottom of the software. I can tap that, and then I can pinch in to anywhere in the software that I want, and I can create a preset. Now, on this screen, you may see that I already have 3 presets, 1, 2, and 3. If I tap on preset 1, it's going to change the size to a predetermined set, and it's going to pan to an area of the view that it's going to then focus in on. If I tap preset 2, it's going to come over here. It's going to change again the amount of crop, and it's going to turn to that direction. And then preset 3 does the same thing. Now, that was a set that I was working on in my living room early this morning. So I'm going to take that and change it. I'm going to drag this crop to here. So you've got a good shot of that little camera. And then I'm going to take preset 3, tap and hold, and update it. So now that becomes preset 3. I'm going to take preset 1. Preset 1. I'm going to continue to zoom in a little bit further. I'm going to drag it over to this little piece of equipment. We'll update that to be preset 1. Update. And then we'll take and leave preset 2 just like it was. So now when I cycle through preset 3, yes, preset 2, and preset 1, it goes wherever you've asked it to go. It will pan, it will tilt, it will crop, and it will refocus to the place where you've put it on the screen. It has a recenter, and that's user definable. That feature is nice to be configurable because it's going to allow you to set your standard go back to home shot wherever you want it to be. While we're in the Obsbot software, I do want to show you one other thing. So I have the ability to tap and hold and control the pan and tilt part of what we do. So I'm going to go ahead and take this completely off screen, and I'm going to update preset 2 to be that shot. Let's go back to preset 1. Preset 3, all within the general range of what we've been looking at since we started the video. But then I can go over to preset 2, and it takes it completely off screen. It pans all the way around. It is not a 360-degree pan, but it's close, and I'll show you that whenever we've turned the camera around to face me. Let's look at image adjustment settings. So if I tap this ellipsis at the bottom, I'm going to see a 3-dot icon here that's going to bring up all of my image adjustment settings. On my image adjustments for the Obsbot Start are here on the left, and I have right now everything set to auto. I have the ability to change that to manual. Then it gives me ISO control. It's going to give me shutter control. And then my autofocus can be shot, center, or manual focus instead of autofocus. If I step over to manual focus, then my focus wheel allows me to rack back and forth. I like to leave it on auto center because on auto center, I can tap on the screen and it will focus to there. Notice everything else went into a blurry mode. That one is really nice and sharp. And I can tap back here and it will focus there and rack away from the closer focus. It's a very nice feature that you get on the Obsbot Tail Air. Image adjustment settings. I also have style, standard, and auto white balance on the bottom right hand corner here. And then those are some presets. Standard, outdoor, pastel, and then custom gives me all the choices that I need, just like I have all the choices here on the Mevo single cam app. If I take my camera mode out of auto and put it in shutter, I'm going to open up the shutter speed and I can change that. If I put it in full manual, then I have control of all the things across except exposure, which is what shutter controls. I like to keep it on auto because I don't have time to mess with all of those things when I'm setting up for a sporting event or live streaming a community event. So those usually for me stay on auto. I will, however, from time to time change my preset, my filter, so to speak. And when I go from normal, which is what I've had it on here, let's confirm what we've got there. When I go from normal to vivid, at least on these screens, you can see the colors match better. And then auto white balance lets me choose between some of them or choose custom, and I can set the temperature as I so desire. I like to keep these on auto because the folks who wrote the software are doing a fantastic job of making sure that we have what we need and it's easy for us to use. Presets, image adjustments. What about what it's like to go live? Mevo single cam app software, there's just a red button, you tap it and it brings up this that gives you all your choices of where you can go live to. On the Obsbot Start software, there's a big red button that says hold. There's a smaller red button that says record underneath it. If you just tap it, you start recording. If you hold it, you can go live. All right, here are our choices across the screen. I've got Facebook, X, live stream, yep, Indeed, Twitch, YouTube, RTMP. There is still a Vimeo, I think. Yep, Vimeo one that's locked on mine because I don't have that subscription since they changed over to offering their own Mevo Pro. I can multi-stream if I have the Mevo Pro subscription. It's as simple as turning it on there in the toggle switch. I'm not going to be doing that today, but when I tap on Facebook, it's going to ask me to sign in using my Facebook account. I believe I've already done that on the Obsbot Start. I don't know that I have on YouTube. Yes, I have. I can go live to YouTube. I haven't on Twitch. Not logged in. You can tap the login. It will ask for permission to use your credentials, but it will bring up all the places you can go live if you're the administrator of pages or groups in Facebook. That's fine if that's what you want to do. I generally stick with streaming to either YouTube or to an RTMP destination. Right there on the top of the page, I can choose my streaming resolution and my streaming bit rate. It's customized all the way down to 500. That would be a very low requirement there. I can choose to record at the same time on both of these. Taking it live looks like it's a fairly straightforward process on both of these. Let's look into the general settings for each piece of software. For live streaming on the Mevo single cam app, I can define my resolution and bit rate. So 1080, 6 megabits per second. Well, how about we drop that down to about 4.5 megabits per second on 1080. That would lower my requirement for what I'm trying to do if my cellular connection is suspect, or if I'm working on a weak network. That's a great tool to have. You saw the same thing on the Obsbot Start software just a moment ago. One thing that the Obsbot Start software offers us that Mevo does not is gesture control. So I can go into gesture control, and me talking with my hands, if there was a camera facing me, I would have already turned gestures on or off multiple times. I do it all the time when I'm recording with an Obsbot Start. But I can tell it to start or stop recording. I can tell it to zoom in or out. I can tell it to create a dynamic zoom where I'm zooming in or out. I can flip the direction of all of these there in gesture control. My audio settings in the Obsbot app are here. I can mute, unmute, monitor or not. I have an automatic gain toggle, and I have a noise reduction function that should be helpful in noisy environments. And once again, we have several choices that we can make use of. Like auto gain control, just like we had over here in the Obsbot software. Also have processing that is for general, music, speech, wind, which is going to give me some noise reduction there. And I can bring in my iPad as a microphone because it's the control device. That is a feature that the Mevo software has that the Obsbot software does not yet have. And then that subscription we talked about just a moment ago, the Mevo Pro subscription that's available through Mevo, that one's going to allow me to add another device that is a microphone if it's running the Mevo Go app. It also allows me to bring in other devices that would bring in camera video from a smartphone or pre-roll video that's on that file. I have a lot of choices of things I can bring into my stream or my recording if I have the Mevo Pro subscription that's available through Mevo. NDI mode is something that I wanted to compare because it's available on both. It is an extra purchase, one-time purchase on the Obsbot software. It is part of a subscription on the Mevo software. Simply toggle it on if it's activated, and you'll be able to pick either of these cameras up in software other than its native software. The Mevo will pick up the Obsbot camera when NDI is activated on the Obsbot. The Obsbot software will not pick up the Mevo in NDI mode yet. I don't know that they're planning to, but that is one thing that we don't see just yet. We can turn on UVC mode in the output section of the Obsbot software, and that's going to allow us to use that Obsbot as a webcam. To plug it into the computer, let it run just as a webcam. We have webcam mode in the Mevo software as well. It's a toggle switch in its settings, or you can just double tap on the power button. You'll hear a tone, and it will be in webcam mode. that turns it on and off. There's the sound of each of those. So we'll be recording for just a little bit on both of these units. The Obsbot Tail Air is going to record in 4K. I chose my media settings and I pushed it up to as high as it would because I want the best that it offers. The Mevo Start is going to record me in 1080. I want it to record as high quality as we can get for both of them so you can compare the two. Now, I am directly in front of a window, and that's a little bit by design because I want you to see the vertical sides of that window frame and see the distortion there. Both of them offer a little bit of distortion top to bottom because of the way their lens is shaped or how wide a field of view they're trying to get. So we mentioned a moment ago that this was a pan, tilt, zoom head on top of this camera, and I want to make sure I show you what I'm talking about here. So I am at the limit in one direction. So now I'm going to pan this. Oh, is that the limit? Yeah. I'm going to pan this around the office. I was in pretty much the center of the screen when it came around a moment ago. And there's the other limit. All right, so there's the limit. If I put myself in screen here, and I pan all the way around this way, I was on the left-hand side of the screen when we started. Try to speed that up just a hair. And I am at the right-hand side of the screen here. So about the width of this screen is what it won't cover all the way around one way or the other. So almost 360 degrees, but not 360 degrees. So Obsbot Tail Air and its software versus Mevo Start and its software. What do you think? Which one will you be making use of in your live streams? Do you hope that the Obsbot folks will come out with a multi-camera setup that's native in their software? Do you hope that the next version of the Mevo camera offers us a higher resolution for live streaming or recording? Let us know in the comments your opinion about these two cameras.